Hello and welcome to the Alchemist Inkwell
This is your spiritual podcast for grounded people,
for humans that exist on the ground.
for people that exist and have a right to exist.
Yeah,
I'm
correct.
KristaLyn.
I'm Emily and I exist in a body that is my own, and I should get to choose what I do with it.
I made choices with what to do with mine, and you're not going to take them back.
Correct. Correct.
hmm
Um,
Ooh,
Hi
I'm so
guys.
sorry.
I know. If we don't laugh, we'll cry.
The sun is still in
Hello.
Scorpio. I'm feeling kind of sassy.
Honestly, my therapist said it best. Okay, so what he said was that right now we're for the foreseeable future, we're probably not going to have emotions outside of anger. We're going to have emotions within anger. So it'll be anger happy or anger sad or anger excited or anger frustrated or whatever. You're just going to, and he was like, that's kind of healthy. That's a normal human response. And that's how we should be feeling these things right now for till we have a reason not to. So if
Mhm.
you're in that space with us and you're hearing our anger giggles, that's why. Ah.
So, first of all, for all of you who are also in that space, welcome. It's a party in here right now. We even have games, and we will be playing them. But first, we do want to kind of ground ourselves into
Mhm,
typical topic of this podcast is spirituality, energy coming up for the week, how you can
mhm,
align with it, things that may be coming up. If you want like more direct of like, what do you see coming up in the future? Em and I both have our Patreons where we share those things more directly. That is a form of consent, in our opinion. If you want to know, you go there. That's where we will tell you. And your participation in those communities lets us know that that's what you want to hear. This
mhm.
space is welcome for everybody. Like whether
Yeah.
whatever you want, this is your sanctuary space. And
Mhm.
so, in light of things that happened in the last week, some of us need a sanctuary right now. Us too.
Yeah, we need a sanctuary, but also we need a sanctuary together in our anger, together in our pain, together in our fear. Um, I want to be real clear, and I'm even going to post a TikTok
Mm,
video about this today or tomorrow. To be real clear, if you expect to come to our podcast or our communities or our spaces, um, and have chosen to actively vote for not only the hatred and discrimination of others, but also the limitation of others' rights to exist or have control of their own bodies. This is not your space. And if that makes you upset, then I hope you enjoy sitting with that because truly, like this is not that space. If you don't know about our personal politics already, I don't know why you're listening to the podcast, to be totally honest. But I also have had a lot of people be like, well, this is just like not the podcast necessarily, but like even my Patreon and things like that, where people are like, I'm really it's really unfortunate that you are sharing this about it. Like I come to this as like, a happy place. And I'm like, if you're coming to spirituality for it to be your happy place,
yeah.
that's bypassing, plain and
Unfortunately, and I
simple.
posted about this on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So that is already on my platforms. Unfortunately, spirituality is a deep place. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that is deep joy. And sometimes it is deep reality with the feelings that you have to deal with in an environment and in a time and a period in history where my mentor in astrological magic once said you could find and this feels almost too real now. You could find the best selection for the perfect talisman, but if you find it and you make it for someone in Poland of 1943, that best selection means they get out alive. So we always are working our magic within the time that we are alive in.
Mm-hmm.
And we are realizing that, as Gandalf said to Frodo, we are in one of those times right now. it is our turn. And so we are going to find the best elections. We are going to find reasons for joy, which will be an act of resistance, to be
Yeah.
perfectly honest. But we are also going to acknowledge where we are. We are also going to not let things go too far for as much power as we have.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're here and that feels like what you are feeling right now, and if that is the space that holds you, we're with you.
Yeah. And with that too, um, we have always strived to empower all of you with the abilities that you have to connect, to be magical, to work magic, to change the world around you, all these things. That is tenfold now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that is why, yes, spirituality is here to help you navigate stuff in a personal way and in a soft way and in a friends with your guides way. But it's also here to show you what stuff to fuck up. Um, what stuff do you throw your energy at? How do you apply your energy? Um, this is the time to use spirituality as power because it is. It just is. It is a powerful force within the universe, within your life, within the lives of others. So please hold and honor that. Um, and honestly, I can't recommend enough. This is the time to lean in on spiritual stuff,
Mm-hmm.
even though it might feel like another thing, another scary thing. Please lean in, don't lean out. The reason I say that is this is also stuff that can go. Like they're trying to do many, many horrific things with religion spaces too. This is the time to lean in and get comfortable and kick your limiting beliefs in the teeth and cry and be really intimate with your spiritual practice and understand how it works for you in the ways that you can. It's important. It's important so you know that this is always here for you no matter what. It's one of those things like joy that is an act of resistance and creating things. That's the opposite of war. It's not peace,
Yeah.
it's creation. This
Mm-hmm.
is that force that we're sitting in. And I can say, looking and talking to beings on the other side, the beings that are
Yeah.
non incarnated right now,
Yeah.
many of them are willing to lend some rage. They are ready to also embolden us and hold us. And we are not getting the attitude of like, well, this is how it's going to happen. That's not
Mm-mm.
happening on the other side.
Mm-mm.
And I've talked to beings across a lot of pantheons at this point in time. I've spent the last days just channeling basically. And every single one is like, they're ready too. So all that's to say, just lean in on that. It is time to lean in on that. It's time to find your practice. And it's also time to empower yourself in that way. Like find the
Mm-hmm.
tools, take the courses, be in the space that you need to empower yourself in a spiritual sense so that you know it is here for you.
Mm-hmm. It's also
We've
the
fought
thing
a
that's
long
going to
time.
ground you, because being able to do what's within your control. I
Yeah.
cannot tell you how playing a Legend of Zelda game over the weekend and just being able to solve problems and puzzles, being able to do
Uh,
something where there was a solution and I could solve it, um, gave me
yeah.
so much sanity, I guess is the word. Um, so, make sure that you realize that there are problems you can solve. There may be little ones, there may be big ones, there may be huge opportunities over the next few years for big problems that you can participate in solving. There almost certainly will be. Um, and just start remembering you solve those problems. You are capable. You have a zone of genius and a skill set, and it's going to be useful.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Also, just touching briefly on this before we get into playing our game, because we thought it would be really fun to just help you guys turn your brains off too and reduce your panic meter iota. Trust me, mine is off the charts.
Yep.
I've been doing panic exercises for days now. But we're gonna play a game of just like asking each other fun questions, basically, and
Yep.
sharing story times. And it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. We will do our best to keep it as full of levity as possible as we do that. However, I do just want to say on that note, when I look at the energy of this week, and Krista's also did this with astrology, Stuff definitely comes up like Wednesday, Thursday, and then next week,
Mhm.
lots of stuff comes up. Um, Changes,
Yeah,
things
yeah.
that look very court-esque, that look very challengey-esque. Um, Stuff is shifting and we don't see it yet, and we can't see it yet, but it's shifting. I just don't
Mhm,
know fully how. But that definitely feels like it's coming up on like Wednesday, Thursday. It
mhm,
feels like almost not quite the level of revelation that last week's Wednesday, Thursday are, but pretty freaking close.
mhm. Yeah, so this week, um, and for anybody who doesn't know, I do the astrology and I channel the planets as my guides primarily. So I look at the astrology, interpret it, and then say, hey guys, but what does this mean? Um,
Mhm.
this week we have what would normally make me so happy.
Mhm.
We have a full moon coming up in Taurus on the 15th, which is Friday.
Mhm.
And that moon is conjunct Uranus, which shakes things up a bit. It's a full moon. The moon is at her full energy. This is revelation. This is fullness of light. This is the moon in exaltation. So the moon in world astrology would represent the people um, having their place. And this is again conjunct Uranus, which is surprises, the unpredictable, innovation, invention, and ingenuity. But also, the revelation of things, the turning of things on their heads, 180s, that kind of stuff. And of course, it's also very notable that we are pre-shadow for a Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, which is not Mercury's favorite place, and a Mars retrograde starting in Leo and heading back into Cancer. Those are coming up, and we are in that building phase of that. Um, and next week we do have Pluto finally going into Aquarius, which is a big deal. It is the start of a 20-year new cycle. Well, not even a new cycle, just a new sign. This is how long it's going to take
Mhm.
Pluto to get through a sign. But it's a new generation, a new mode of society, a new culture shift. So
Yeah.
we've had previews of that, but it's finally going into stay. So that leads us towards a more Aquarian kind of era that has already been emphasized and begun by 2020, in the later half of 2020, when Jupiter and Saturn began their new cycles of 200 years of conjunctions in air signs now. So like it's a thing, right? We are now settling into that. And yeah. So there's a lot of new happening, a lot of don't try too hard to anticipate things, because you might still be surprised. You might, if you make a guess, it's probably not going to be the one that shows up. We're at that kind of
Mhm.
place. So I would just say surround yourself with what makes you comfortable, surround yourself with resources that make you feel supported. And then when you see the new circumstances, you'll have what you need to adapt to them.
On like an asterisk notes of that though, like we're gonna have to get discomfortable, like uncomfortable in order to make progress. So what
Mhm.
I will say is comfortable in a being
Prepped.
able to prepare and make action sort of sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you have subscriptions or things that are supporting funding a campaign that literally wants to tell you that you can do with your body, maybe we cancel those.
Hmm.
And that might suck, or things like that too. So just throwing that in that space. And also, if you hear us talking a lot, you already hear us talk about this a lot, but we will sometimes throw in more concrete things. But if you hear us, especially the next couple weeks, talking more about what the energy looks like more vaguely, it's because we know that right now it's like popcorn. You don't know
Hmm.
what's going to come flying out of that maker. Like you don't know what's popping out of that pan. It's like,
Hmm.
okay, we're making a popcorn in this energy. What's going to come from it? And it literally feels just like, poof, this thing. And we're like, okay, I see how that relates to that energy we saw. But
Yep.
it is, that's what we're kind of looking at least until Pluto gets into Aquarius. Then it starts to look a little bit more slightly kind of predictable. But until then, it's just like,
Yeah, honestly, the rest of November for me, even when I look at the astrology, I know the dates that something will happen.
mm-hmm,
I know the gist of what kind of things might fit that. But because of everything that's going on right now, I don't know exactly how that would show up. And so
mm-hmm,
rather than pretend I do, um, I'm
yeah.
not going to make a fear-mongering situation and put people in more panic than they already are. That's not to say that what I see is scary. I'm just saying because I can't give you concrete, I'm going to wait and then, calculate in hindsight with this.
Mhm.
My Patreon already knows. Like we went over this in detail. So if you are like really interested in some of the details around that, you can go over there. The videos are already up, whatever. Um, I'm not scared of it. It's just something that like what you're saying about the energy. I don't want to create stories that are going to make people spin.
Yeah. That being said, there's a lot of changes that happen in the next couple of weeks. Like
Mhm. Well,
that's the
they've got
energy I
to.
see. It's just like shift and change and shift and change
Yeah.
and shift and change. So if things don't feel concrete right now and you're trying to struggle to accept things and it doesn't feel concrete, I would not be surprised if that is because they are shifting.
Hmm. Yeah. Everything, like all the energy feels transient at this moment,
Hmm.
which is,
Yeah.
we are in a very strong era of transition
Yeah.
in the micro and the macro.
We got this. Da, na, 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 na. I don't,
Yeah.
oh,
It will
guys.
be okay because we will make it okay.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And we're sad too. So, on
Yes.
that note, let's play a game.
This game is, I'm gonna mispronounce it, so I apologize. It's called Hygge, the Danish word, um, for like basically
Higa.
cozy. Hygge. There we go. Thank you.
Higa.
It invokes
There's
an
a whole
atmosphere
song.
of coziness. Huh?
I only know that because in Frozen the musical, there's a song.
Oh yeah, that's right. Um,
Higa.
It evokes an atmosphere of coziness accompanied by a feeling of contentment and well-being. And there's nothing more hygge than spending quality time with the people you love. So we're gonna play this game. It's
Higa.
got it's got conversation topics for us. So I'm gonna treat the hygge cards like tarot cards. I'm gonna like
Yay.
split the deck and we're just gonna see what, and when I'm asking, well, I'm going to ask these for both of us. I'm going to see what we should be responding to based on the cards. So,
Perfect. Fantastic. Ah, after not watching the video, Krista just died laughing.
because I'm like, okay, there are three topics on a card, right? And I'm like, okay,
Uh-huh.
middle, top, or bottom. And they're like, middle, middle, middle. And I'm like, the question is, and let me know if you want to pass this one. Are you glad to be living in the modern day and age, or do you wish you'd lived during a past era?
F off, Higa.
You can't make this
Okay.
up.
Okay. So, first of all, that's a fucked up card, but I will answer. I will answer.
Okay, okay, then I will too.
Um, the truth of it is, yes.
Yes.
Actually, I think this is a wonderful way to kick off this game. I'm actually thrilled to be living right now. I've lived the other times too. So, like,
I
um,
haven't.
Crystal hasn't. I've lived the other times. There's a couple huge reasons that I will say yes. Of course, yeah, you can pull off like the normal ones, like modern medicine and like grocery stores and like plumbing. Um, I do like indoor stuff. However, what I will say is there has never been a time in history where shit wasn't happening. It truly there hasn't been. And the only reason that we were raised as millennials in the delusion that shit wouldn't be happening is because our parents got like the most peaceful time on planet.
Yep.
Or if you were raised in a predominantly white,
Yeah.
normalized household.
For anyone that tells you they want to go back to the 50s because everything was great then, my first question is always, for who?
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're correct. I got in a very heated Christmas dinner conversation like that. Anyway, but well, specifically, we're looking at like the 70s through the 90s. That was a
Hmm.
very stable time. And so humans are really, really good at getting lulled into comfort. And if you were in a white heteronormative household, your parents probably felt really comfortable and told you were going to be really comfortable while simultaneously fucking you out of a future by a bunch of different decisions. Because that's how that worked. But that is like the only like stable chill. Like there's not been a time on planet when things weren't happening. Like even just, I mean, my area of study, of course, like in ancient Rome, like there was a year of four emperors, guys. Four emperors in a single year. Can you
Mhm.
imagine living in a city as just like a normal dude who makes shoes as four emperors occur? Like that sucks.
Mhm.
That is not a pleasant experience. So there's an element of that of like no matter what time you look at on planet, like shit was happening and it sucked. Like it just is. A couple things though. I am thrilled to be incarnated right now because we have the ability to connect with each other like we've never had before.
Mhm.
That is what technology has given us, and it's given us you guys. It's given me you. You know, like we have
This
a
would not have
partnership
happened
because of
without
this.
modern day. Yeah.
100%. And I value that so incredibly, incredibly much. Um, also, I do value being a part of a time, and I believe this in my core, where we're going to change things for the better.
Yeah.
Um, we're going to. It's gonna fucking happen. It might not be happening right now, but it's gonna happen. And I just like I I really do value that. Also, vibrationally, like where the planet is in vibration scale wise. Like I also like that. Like I can like that I feel the rising of the vibration on a daily basis. With that, it comes a lot of changes, of course, and that's not comfortable. But like I
Mhm.
feel those change, like I feel that vibration shifting and like with more and more magical and getting to be here to be a guide, basically a spirit guide, if you will, for everybody during that time. Like I do value that. I do value that. And I can travel anywhere I want in the world. The world is small for the first time in the history of man.
Yep.
It's small. I can
Yep.
get on a plane and be anywhere in the world that I want within a day.
Mhm.
That's wild.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So, yes, would like to live in this time.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with every point you made. I was in Jerusalem once channeling Jesus. And I remember asking, being like, how am I supposed to make a difference at all? Because I can't reach people, right? And the reality slap that I got in that channeling was you have more followers on Instagram than the amount of people I talked to while I was alive. And I was
Hmm.
like, oh, right. So to your point about the world being smaller and the connection that we have and the ability that we have to actually be heard, not only be heard, but find our people, even if we're not born into the circumstances where we have community with us. I was not. One of
Hmm.
the things that comes up with my therapist all the time is maybe these things that you're trying to overcome from childhood were simply because you were never going to get those people to like you because you were born into
Hmm.
the wrong space. Clearly I was. But because of the way the world is today and in modern period, I have found community. I have found
Hmm.
people who actually like me for who I am on all facets. You being like top of that list. Um,
I really like you for all the things that you are. I think you're incredible and awesome, and you should know that in your core.
and it is fully and whole body like returned to you. Of
Right?
absolutely. Um, Straight down to the cards that randomly showed up on your door. Like,
I said, come over to this package. This package is this beautiful deck of cards. They're Greco-Roman deity cards. And I was like, I did not fucking order these. Like, I know I did not order these. And Wes was like, Are you sure? Maybe it was like last year. Maybe it was like a crowdfunding thing. I'm like, no, I really don't think I ordered these cards. But they had no note, they had nothing in it. So good. I got them. I was like, Krista, today these cards like show it's like that was me. I did that. I'm like, okay.
I sent them to you. I asked Lacosta what you would want, and that's what she showed me.
He
So,
was right. I like
yeah,
them a
yeah.
lot. They're cool. But also I was like, what? Like,
And again, like about the modern era, what other period, speaking of energy and access, could I channel into one of your guides and say, hey, I want to
mhm,
get a gift for M. Show me on this algorithm what I should get, and then I can just send them to you.
right?
So yeah, and I'm glad you like them. I really am. So
I
that's another
really do.
reason I'm glad to be here. Also, I did not come here to be quiet. I did not come here to sit around. So I am glad, and I'm going to say this for everybody who knows me, I am a Scorpio moon and rising. My Mars is well situated, and I am glad that I am living in a time where I have something to fight for.
Mhm.
I
Yep.
wish it were different. I wish it didn't involve other people being uncomfortable. But if I have to be in a period of time, I'm glad I'm in a space and in a position where I can fight for people. And it has been made very clear, especially in this last year, that that's one of the things I get to do. So
Mm.
I'm glad I was born now.
That was a really nice question, actually. I'm really glad they made you ask that first because that
What
actually
a
makes me
great way
feel a
to,
lot better.
yeah.
Like, I'm still, get me wrong, I'm still real fucking upset. Like, I feel all things right now about all
Mhm.
things. So I am still scared and sad, but that does helps a little bit.
That was cathartic. Hmm. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. What next, you guys?
Like, I do like the world, damn it.
Yeah, there are greater powers than evil. Thank you, Gandalf.
Hmm.
Okay. So,
Like snow presently in my backyard.
oh, yay. Okay.
No,
Here's one. If you could take a week-long vacation anywhere in the world by yourself, where would you go?
by myself. Okay. Um, Initial, like, of course, I'm like, oh, well, I would just go back to Rome. I love Rome, right? Like,
Mhm.
Rome makes me super happy. So, of course, that's like my initial, like, oh, I would just go there. However, upon thinking about it, like, more deeply, I think I would probably, let's see, part of me says just Norway. I'd like to
Yeah.
just walk around and feel really fucking safe
Right.
for a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if I'm gonna see things. I might just spend the whole time just going to cafes, but I'd just like, or like Iceland, like, I
Yeah.
just would like to walk around alone and comfortable.
Hmm.
I think that would be what I pick.
Yeah. I I think I would go somewhere like that too. Somewhere I could wear a really nice comfy sweater and walk around all bundled up and go and get a warm drink and either just read a book in public where I'm safe or write a book
Yeah.
in public where I'm safe and like have a cozy higa experience
Eeg.
without feeling like I have to. Honestly, Wednesday, I wasn't sure who I could look in the eye, you know?
Mhm.
Um, and so I would go somewhere where I don't have to worry about even looking people in the eye, like where I could just walk down the street and not be at somebody else's whim or expectation, and also
Yeah.
just have the right to exist that way. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't go alone, I would take my dogs.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, what do I want to see? And really, it's like, where do I
No,
just
I
want
just
to like
want coffee
be?
shops and fireplaces
Yeah.
and
I just
coziness.
kind of want to, I want to be in a place where like
I want fairy lights.
it's just safer.
Yeah,
I want to hear a car backfire and be like, that's a car.
that's a car. Yep. That's all that
Like,
is.
that's all it is. It's just a car.
Mhm.
It was horrible. Ugh, I don't even know. I'll tell it. When we were in Hawaii, we were in the water night swimming, and I assume it was a car. It was kind of late, and it like drove past down this one road, and it backfired a couple of times. But it was very inconsistent, and I was like, "Kids, stay in the water. Like, we're gonna sit in the water for a while." And then it happened again, and I was like, "I don't know if that's a fucking car or not, because why it's still in that same spot backfiring?" And like, I hate that.
Mhm. Oh, yeah. We were playing D&D one time when we still lived north,
Hmm.
and, we heard a car backfire a couple times, and we were like, "Oh, that's probably normal," until a policeman came in and said, "Hey, guys, don't go outside for a while."
Hmm.
And we're like, "Okay, lock the door." Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Rebecca and I were we were filming a ghost tour around Wilmington, and we were like getting weird vibes, and all of a sudden we heard not a car backfiring, and we're like, time to go, time to go.
Mhm.
Felt very safe until that moment. Anyway, I would like to go someplace where I would be safe and not have to think
Mhm.
about
Yeah. I want the Hallmark movie Christmas movie settings without the people.
it. Yeah.
Or without, the I don't wanna be the main character in the plot. I wanna be the person in the back of the cafe.
Yeah. I just
Yeah.
want to keep eating that cinnamon roll that's way too big.
Right? With no consequences. Like,
No, that's
take
what I'd like.
50? Okay. New cinnamon
Right?
roll. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Honestly, like, yeah, it's not that big of a dream, guys. We should be
Woo.
able to achieve that. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
All right, next
That's
one.
it. Okay. Like, which one do you want me to do, guys? Um, Would you enjoy sharing a meal with your clone?
Oh, totally. I would have a fun fucking time. That's the most Gemini question anyone has ever asked me, I think. Would I enjoy having dinner with someone who also has two sides? 100%. I'd be
Right.
like, okay, you be this side and I'll be this side. And then we can just vibe. And you'll
Yeah.
agree with me on everything, except you won't because you're Gemini. So we're just gonna like argue,
You're
but in a
gonna like
healthy
have
way.
this really
It
great
would
debate that's
be
gonna be satisfying.
it would be great. And then I could tap in and see if you get the same thing. Oh, me and my clone would have a whole experience. It would be grand. Honestly, I bet I would give a really good hug to myself too. So like I'm all
Yeah.
in on the clone dinner.
I don't know if I would enjoy time with my clone. I can't tell if we would relate to each other really well and we'd have a really good time just like doing a whole conversation of I have this thought and the other person just being like, I know. Or if I would annoy myself. Just be like, listen, you need to stop. Um, I think we'd watch really good movies and have really good food together. We would probably watch a marathon of something and have good conversations about that. And the ranting would be epic. Like, would be worth someone writing an epic about. Um, and I'd probably the body doubling, I would get so much done.
I also feel like it'd be really healing, right? Because
Yeah.
like I never judge other people as harsh as I judge myself.
Right.
So if I had my clone there, I mean,
And
my
they
clone
just
would be hyping me the fuck up the whole
yeah.
time because I'd be like,
Justifying
"Oh,
childhood trauma
feel
and helping
this."
process
Like, no,
it.
no, no. I was there. It wasn't like that. Like,
Yeah.
don't worry,
Yeah. We would be
I
EMDRing
also
in
feel
real
it, but
time.
like you,
The Scorpio moons are coming out now.
uh-huh.
By the way, Em and I both have them.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
great.
great. It's great. We both have just really morbid senses of humor and we're like really content
One
about
thing's
it.
for sure, there would be no small talk.
Oh no. Oh no, there would not.
Yeah.
No. There'd be a lot of article sharing that would occur. It would be like, did you see this one?
Yeah.
What about that?
Like, we would get so much studying done. Oh my gosh. That would be prolific and I would be
And is
so
it like a
happy.
shadow clone? Like, can I like back in
Mm.
and get all the knowledge that they gained? Because that would be cool.
Honestly, that's my only condition. I would have this conversation if I get to do double the learning. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Then it would be
That would be
phenomenal.
Higa. Otherwise, it's not Higa.
Oh,
That's not
Nahiga.
comforting otherwise.
Not
Like, oh, yeah.
Higa.
Oh,
I guess I'm
okay.
just gonna sing a bunch on this podcast
I like
episode.
it.
It's like
I
my
like the faces you
process.
make when you do it too. It's great.
Oh my gosh, a bunch of my students from my Train With Me program were out here this weekend, and I forget who said it, but they were like, "You are the most exaggerated facial expressions and like body expressions as a person." I was like, "Correct. I
Yeah.
don't. I am a cartoon character made human, and that is fine with me."
I used to get called that all the time as a kid. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
love
that's
that about
okay.
you, by the
Thank
way. I'm
you.
not your clone, but I can
Well, it's
appreciate
not
it.
gonna stop, so I hope
No,
you enjoy it.
don't
It's coming at
ever
you.
come at you. Oh, this is a great, like, if you've never been on this, if you've never had this podcast episode, if you've never seen it before. I love it. Okay. Next card.
Yes.
Cool, cool, cool. Um, so hang on, there's a couple on here. I have to figure out which one they want me to ask.
Yeah, no, you're good.
It's the same card as the week-long vacation by yourself, but they want me to ask, okay, not
That's a
counting.
deck of like 200 cards, and you
I
pull the
know.
same one.
I'm
Teams.
I know. Not counting your partner or your family members, who in your life has been the kindest to you?
You.
Like, yeah.
Uh,
Um,
there's that. Uh,
yeah. Yeah. Considering the amount of times per week I tell Dan, like, Em said this nice thing to me. Like,
well, you just sent me a deck of surprise cards. I was like, you.
yeah, I mean,
Oh, my like
you sent me a
childhood
stuffy
best.
once. I like,
I did.
yeah,
My childhood best friend Poe. She's
yeah.
around there too.
Dan will make the list, but
No, he's not. He doesn't count because he's your spouse. That's the
oh, you're
separate
right. You're
part.
right. No, I keep thinking
Huh?
about him as my best friend. We're
But
apes.
same. When I first goes,
Yeah.
Callum. I mean, I know he's my
Yeah,
family.
no,
Dogs
but
are good people too.
dogs are great people.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, my mentor, Larry has been very kind.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
One of
Cool.
my therapists.
I relate to that. I'm sorry. I once had a therapist that tried to get me to use a Noah's Ark model to discuss the abuse. And I was like,
Yeah.
what?
I once had a therapist do something very similar. It was just basically like, yeah, I understand you're upset right now, but you'll get over it. And I was like,
Yeah.
my ex-husband just got arrested. Maybe I won't. Like,
Yeah. Mine was like, write about it over and over again in as much detail as possible so that you
oh, healthy.
process it. And it's
So
just like,
nice. Such
you're
a
not going to be
kind
able to read
experience.
that.
Okay, okay, but
Okay.
taking it another level up
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
guides, because
Yes.
we get that
Okay.
ability. If we're talking about guides, that's so much snow. If we're
Okay.
talking
That's harder.
about guides that have been nicest, etc., we're gonna go Apollo, number one for me. He's always a gentle, gentle being with me, and I love
Yes.
him dearly. Um, Probably after that, we're gonna go with Cinnamon. Cinnamon's not like a guide, but he's
But
always the
cinnamon counts
kindest.
for sure.
Cinnamon counts. Um, love Cinnamon. A lot of my guides are fucking intense. Like, so what are you? Oh, Boris, duh. Boris.
Yeah.
Boris wins.
Yeah.
Boris wins
So,
everything all the time.
uh, yeah, I mean, no surprise, Jesus. But the reason
Jesus.
Jesus helps to validate my anger so much. It's very kind. Like I have been using the
Tell me
even
I'm
Jesus
right.
flipped a table for years. Um, Jesus helps me know exactly which tables to flip, and I've always appreciated that. Um, yeah, I mean,
Oh,
Athena,
um, Pele? He's returned a lot of shit to me from the
yeah,
ocean.
yeah, yeah.
Athena has been nice to you? That's really lovely.
Okay, so of my guides, this is how it works. Like, right. Like I can't say my great great grandma, white grandma, because she literally smacks me on the back of the head from
Yeah,
spirit
she's
and
not
I feel
nice.
it. So I
She's
didn't
not
come here
nice.
for a gentle experience. Um, but yeah, so there's that.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, next card. I think we have time for a couple more.
Next card, we can do another one.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Um, what actor or actress would play you in the movie version of your life? God help them, whoever they are.
I
Um,
don't fucking know. Oh my God.
okay,
I
for
don't, I
everybody who's
truly
watching or
don't.
listening, who do you think should play us in the movie
Yeah.
versions? First of all, I would love to hear that. Um,
Please. We're going to use that as
yeah,
a call out to you guys, actually. Who would
yeah,
play us in our movie versions? Please
yeah,
do tell.
yeah. Because the last time someone told
Honestly,
me I didn't look like an actress or an actor was I had long hair at the time, and they were like Dakota Johnson, and I'm like,
I mean, kind of, I get that when I see your, like, just at the time, like, knowing what you look
at the
like
time.
with long hair,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't see that now, but like,
Thank you,
okay.
thank you. Yeah,
Hmm. I will say, I'll throw that out to you guys. It's got to be a comedian for me, though, like, straight up.
yeah.
Someone who's like got their start on SNL or something.
Like I know who
That'd
will
be
narrate the
insane.
movie of my life,
Mm.
by Morgan Freeman, because and in fact, it was not okay. Or, like,
And in fact, it was not
it
okay.
would not be.
Yeah. I would want the narrator who does like all of Brandon Sanderson's novels to narrate mine
Yes.
because he
Oh
would
my
do all the
gosh.
he
Yeah.
would do like, and this is what she was thinking in her head.
Yeah. Oh
Um,
my gosh.
that being
Well,
said, I would
okay.
want the
I know as
entire
a kid,
movie.
we both would have said. We both would have just picked one of the Olsen twins.
Oh, 100%, because of course, Krista
Yeah.
and I were both in the Olsen Twin fan club, by the way.
We
Like
were.
that's how much we
Yeah.
were in their
Before we knew each
space.
other, like long
Yeah.
before we knew each other.
Yeah. I will say though, if someone were to make a movie about my life, what I would really love to happen, and if someone's out there and wants to run with this directorial vision, like you can do so. I would want
Copyright Emily.
only women,
Mhm.
only women and non-binary people, to have their faces shown. So it would have to be creative on how it hides the men, but like straight up, like they only get their face or the back of their head, or I get stuff through letters or whatever it is. That would be how I would want it presented. It would be like, fuck the Bechtel test. This is Bechtel life. Like it would be
Yeah.
that type of
Bechtel
energy.
life. I love that title.
But that's what I would want. And very intentionally, the reason for that is I don't, it would truly and absolutely center like fully women and non-binary people in the narrative.
Mhm.
And I really fucking like that.
Yeah. 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 I
World that is, I've given enough to men. They don't get my movie too.
yeah, no. I don't know who would play me. Uh
For
maybe oh, what's their last name? Elliot?
Page,
Yeah,
that'd be great.
you could go with Elliot
You guys are
Page.
the same height too.
I know. So I could deal with that. That would be cool.
My actors would
Yeah.
have to be tall as shit. I'm very tall.
The problem with my life story is there's no cohesion. Like you go from the OR dying on a hospital table to singing the national anthem to a bunch of Germans in a Bulgarian hostel on top of a mountain within 4 years. That just
It's
it
okay.
gets so random.
I've owned a pottery studio. I've sold cars, and I was an HR manager. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. And then the
And
next
now
year they fell
now
off
I
a
am a
castle in
psychic,
Wales. And like so,
right?
so it's just gonna be like a montage, but somehow also a story. I don't know.
Soundtracked to ABBA.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Fernando has
I
to be
think
in
we
there
should
because that's how my first guy introduced themselves to me. So
exactly. Every time I hear that song now, I'm like, well, Krista.
yeah, yeah, that's literally how it happened. Okay,
Mm,
so there we
I
go.
think okay. I think we do one more question. Let's do one more.
Okay, one more question. We got this.
Because we didn't really have an answer.
Okay. Um,
Oh, you know what? I'd prefer to be a cartoon.
oh yeah. Can
Then
mine
I
be
could have a
animated?
voice actor.
Yeah. Oh, that's more fun.
That's much
That's a
more
good
fun.
idea. I like that. Um, well, I'm not asking that one. So the one I'm not asking,
What is the one you're not asking? I won't answer,
did
but I
your
want to know.
parents try to steer you toward any particular career?
Oh, I do have an answer, but I will not answer it.
Do you want to? Do we want that? Do we think that that is the right one to have
No,
the
I don't
last
think that
thing?
that would be a.
Okay.
Would you like a trauma dump? No one wants that.
No, no.
Not about my mother, but
Yeah, my parents tried to steer me towards a lot of things, and I have not done any of those. And sorry guys. I did some of them, and then I did some after, I guess. If you could be guaranteed an honest answer, what would you ask and to whom?
okay, my immediate thought is not asking humans shit. I don't care what
Yeah,
humans have to say about anything.
yeah.
I want I want to go straight to the top. Like I'm like, all right, I guaranteed an honest answer. Like we're going to my council of higher selves and being like, hey, the fuck?
Mhm,
What are we doing? What is happening? Why are we doing this? I truly would want to see the map. Like I would want to see my map I made for myself of like what's gonna happen and how it's gonna go and like what are my options. That
mhm.
would be truly what I would ask and what I would want. Um, very selfishly. Uh outside of that, I don't know. What is your thought?
So, you're doing better than me already as far as like I would go to whatever Babylonian first got astrology,
Ooh.
and I would just say, "Tell me everything, all the details," and I would get us a complete traditional original manuscript of the actual how it works. So we
Oh,
wouldn't have any
full
gaps anymore.
goosebumps.
We wouldn't have any translation errors. We wouldn't have any of that, and we would know A to Z how it works. And I would have that knowledge and it would be so satisfying and I would teach everybody. So we wouldn't have any kind of
Nice.
issue anymore. That's what I would do.
Nice. I love
I
that.
would
I
also
love
probably
that.
do that with like the first person who ever wrote down the first religious anything and just be like,
Hmm.
where are you getting the info from? Like,
Mhm.
how are we gonna, make this something that can be passed down? I just want to prevent losses of translations. I think it would be great.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, that's good. I would probably, on a very selfish level, go to Agrippina and be like, "Where did you put all the copies of your
Mm,
autobiography? I must know if there's one in Herculaneum.
yeah.
Which scroll is it? That one? Cool. Just to read it. That's good. That's good stuff.
Mhm.
Anyone now? I don't really care.
Yeah, I mean, I want to restore information and do
Mhm.
better. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And I also don't think that any person at this point in time in the world has all the answers that I would want.
Yeah, like we have
You
the
know
energy
what I mean?
vibration like you were talking about earlier, but I don't think we're
Yeah.
using it to the greatest capacity that we would have been able to before, or that people
Mhm.
before were trying to think. At
Well,
least,
because they were raised in it, there's the
yeah.
difference. It's like we're coming
Well,
into it in a world that's been raised to be like la 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 la, where
yeah,
they came into it in a world that was like more than even we have now.
it
Like
was
they,
in everything.
yeah, and this
There are,
vibration for them was a downturn versus
yeah,
an upturn. For us,
yeah.
it's up. For them,
Well,
back in history, it was down, and like
I'm
that's
reading
easier to step into.
I'm reading a book right now on Mesopotamian religion and like
Oh,
the almost human study of it. And it was like in their accountants stuff, praised
mm-hmm,
certain deities for that, you know? And the one great point they make, the issue with translation is you only get translations of people who could write, which were the
mm-hmm,
more learned people or the more rich people or the whatever. So it's like, where did this originally come from?
yep,
Who had it originally, and how can I get to the source? To quote the Greek, how can I get ad fontes as quickly
right,
as possible? I think that's actually Latin, but anyway, I want to get back to the
yeah.
source and I want to record it and I want to make it available.
Oh, that'd be amazing. I
Yeah.
love that. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That's great. Good answer. Good
Thanks.
answer. Hmm.
Thanks.
It
Oh,
is
good.
dumping snow. It is so much snow right now.
Your
Like,
background has gotten darker.
yeah, it's like
And I know
the
you're
lights are
like
on in my
earlier in the day
room.
than I am. Yeah.
Uh-huh. I know it's not even noon. But yeah, it is dumping snow.
Mm.
Right.
Well, I hope that offers you some higa.
Heeg. I can't stop.
Don't stop. It's fine.
Anyone, you should go listen to the Frozen the Musical soundtrack
I'm
just for
going
that
to
song.
now.
It
I'm gonna
is
get
so
stuck in
funny.
Dan's
It
head.
is a hilarious song. It's like genuinely laugh out loud funny. It's sung by Oaken from Wandering
I
Oaken's
knew
Trading
that.
Post. Yep. And he'll be like, stressing about money. Not Higa, you know,
I love it. Wow.
being overworked. Not Higa. It's just really cute.
Which
Uh,
hopefully gets everybody listen to that. That is your assignment for your spiritual
mhm.
well-being this week. So
Yes.
that as you are navigating the feelings that we are all still navigating,
Yeah.
um, you can say, not Higa.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, there's one particularly very poorly tanned, very wigged headed buffoon who is not Higa. He
Not
has
Higa.
no Higa. Um, and same with
No,
his
not a Higa
robot
hair on that
naming,
head.
and same with his like robot naming Cybertruck designing counterpart. Also not Higa at
Miss
all.
Malcolm.
I know. Oh my God. Well, anyway, um, we know it's all shit, but we're here.
Hmm. Where's that t-shirt?
Oh
uh,
my God, this weekend I was talking to clients. Just one last thing before we sign off. And this was after we were like doing some very deep channeling work. Someone was, everyone was talking about their parents in like certain ways, and everyone was like, not to talk about my parents too much. And I was like, well, welcome to Earth. It's your parents' fault. And I was
yeah.
like, that is all my branding from now on.
Oh gosh. But
Earth, it's your parents' fault. I
but like, but what? I said but, and I'm like, who wanted to say something there?
don't
There's a
know.
but here. But
Remember,
we are in control now. I think it's where
yep,
that was going.
yeah,
Yeah.
and magic is power, and we hope that you, 1, 2, 3, go make
Go
some
make some
magic.
magic.
Woo!
Maybe that was
It
maybe
was so
there's a
bad.
blessing that it was on track. You guys let
It
us
was
know.
so bad.